Hello everyone, my name is Jamin. Thanks so much for visiting my channel. In this video, I have an AceMagic laptop, AX15 model. I'm going to show you how to get inside, access your memory or your RAM. So first thing, power down your computer the correct way, make sure it's off and unplugged from your charger. We're then going to flip the computer over to access our bottom case screws.
So you have 4 screws along the bottom, 2 screws in the middle, 4 more screws on top. Now keep in mind, on one of these screws in the corner, there was a sticker on it to tell them if you've gained entry to the computer or not. So just keep that in mind. If you see any stickers like that on various screws inside the computer, it could void part or all of your warranty. So just keep that in mind. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove all these screws. Another thing to mention is not all screws are the same size. As you can see here, most of these screws were the small screw there, but those 2 hinge corner ones were the long screws. So keep that in mind when you're going into a computer. Keep your screws separate, make sure you know where they go. So after removing all these screws, I'm going to take my small flat metal pry tool. I'm going to go across the seam of the bottom case and carefully take it up from the rest of the computer. Oop, that comes up very easily actually. And as you can see, there's nothing on the bottom, it's just a bottom panel. But that came up very, very easily. It doesn't seem like there's any clips or anything holding it down other than those screws. After you're inside, this is what you're looking at for the inside of the computer.
Now, as a general computer repair side note, whenever I'm working on a computer in my shop, it's sitting on an anti-static mat. Either that or an anti-static bracelet are great ideas to avoid damaging anything in your computer when you're working on it. If you would like any help with tools or supplies for your computer project, there'll be a link above. Also below in the description, it'll be a list of tools and supplies that I use in my shop. Also in the description under that link, I will have another link. It'll be a list to all the replacement and upgrade parts for this specific model computer if you're looking to replace them or upgrade them.
Now the first thing I do before touching anything in a computer is I'll either remove or at least unplug my battery. A computer is safest to work on when as little power as possible is running through it. So here's your battery right down here. There's a piece of black tape going across here, so I'm going to take that up. Most likely that's where the battery is plugged in somewhere in there. So I'm going to take that up very carefully because I don't want to rip out anything that it's connected to. So nice and slow. See, it's on some wires there, so I'm going to hold those wires down while I slowly remove that piece of tape. I don't want it pulling anything up. And then I'm going to put this tape back down exactly where I found it when I'm done working on my computer. So it looks like the battery is held down by 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. Maybe there's one in here. Let me take off this piece of tape as well. Yep, so there's one more screw there. Okay, so I'll put that carefully to the side. I'm going to put that tape back after I'm done. And then after those 5 screws, it plugs into the motherboard right there. Looks like it came out a little. Maybe it's a little loose, or maybe I made it a little loose by taking that tape out. So I'm going to take a small, flat plastic pry tool, and I'm going to push it from each side of that clip, of that plug, until it comes out of that port. It's a little tight in there, but there. So that's how I unplug my battery. We want to avoid pulling on wires anywhere in a computer if at all possible. Just manipulate the plug. But when you pull on wires, sometimes you can pull the wire right out of that plug. And if you want to remove the battery, I'll go ahead and take out these 5 screws here. Now the battery should just come right up. And there it is. So your RAM is right there. It's got one single RAM port. This RAM here is DDR4. This is a 16 gigabyte stick, 2666 megahertz. I will have the RAM specs below in the description if you're looking for your own replacement. I will also try to include a replacement and upgrade options in that link I told you about with all the upgrade and replacement parts for this computer. The way that RAM works is there's a spring-loaded metal arm on either side. You pull those apart from each other gently away from the RAM stick. The RAM stick will then release and often pop up a little bit, and then you can just slide it out of that port right there. To put the RAM back in, as you can see, there's a long side and a short side, so you can only get it in one way. You can't get it in upside down. You just slide it into the port right there, make sure it's flush, make sure the gold area is nice and straight along that port, and then just simply push down, and those metal arms will grab onto it and hold it in place.
So that's the video, how to replace your RAM in an AX15. I always recommend my customers, if you want to upgrade your computer's performance, the best way to do that is maxing out your RAM, possibly even upgrading your solid state drive. If you want help upgrading the solid state drive, I'll have a link above. Also below in the description, that'll be this same video but focusing on your solid state drive instead of your RAM if you need that information. Please remember to like and share if this was helpful, if you think it can help someone else, and feel free to subscribe if you enjoy DIY tutorials like this, or if you just want to keep me on hand to answer any future computer questions you may have. I do try to answer all questions across my channel at least a couple times a day. So thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you on my next video.